Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Productivity Mastery. After the summer break, I'm back, and my guest today isn't gonna disappoint because I'm bringing you a treat, guys. This gentleman here had a chance to meet. I think the first time was at Web Summit
in Lisbon.
in Lisbon,
I remember.
2022.
I
Yeah,
remember meeting
man.
you.
I mean, look, we were both speakers at Web Summit, and for those of you who ever been speakers there's this huge VIP lounge with close to 1,000 speakers and partners. But Jeremiah was one of these people that I would remember, and the reason is not because he's super smart, which he is, but he was one of these people that was a giver, that was a connector. You know, you meet him, he's listening to you, he remembers things, he makes introductions to people. He's just a cool guy. He's there to give more. And I really appreciated that. I remember that from there.
Thank you. And so were you when we were like birds of a feather. We had the same vibe going on, and you were leading a whole bunch of stages. So people were looking to you for your market leadership.
Appreciate it, man. And then, of course, this year we got a chance to spend some more time together as you visited Sofia for the second time, Bulgaria. So we got a chance to hang out. You were part of the Digital K conference, and you gave a kick-ass opening keynote. Just smashed it. This guy smashed it. I mean, I'm curious about those kind of technologies, but what Jeremiah brought to the table. I mean, he's literally leading the trends in the AI world these days, and I'm super excited to hear from him about what's happening in Silicon Valley, what's happening, what's hot out there. So those of you who are listening live on LinkedIn, make sure to post your question in the comments if you're interested, if you're curious to learn from Jeremiah. Jeremiah, why don't you give us the short introduction, like what's your background and what are you focused on these days?
Stoyan, it's a pleasure and honor to be here. And thank you, by the way, showing me around your amazing city. We had watermelon coffee and rose chocolate. And I'll never forget that. I can still smell and taste the flavors. And I was thinking about that the other day. So thank you for being such an amazing host. I've been in Silicon Valley 27 years since .com. So I've been through all these tech trends and waves. I live right in the heart of Silicon Valley. I work in an Airstream. It's an RV, or you call them a caravan, perhaps in Europe, in my backyard. And I go to around 3 AI events every week, 3 per week. I usually speak once a week at these events, and then I host a large event. Called Llama Lounge for AI founders and VCs. And then my day job is I'm a VC. I invest in AI startups, and I work at Blitzscaling Ventures, which is based on the famous book by Chris Ye and Reid Hoffman. Reid Hoffman is, LinkedIn co-founder, PayPal, and he's on the board of Microsoft and major investor of OpenAI. So he's one of our advisors. So I'm hyper connected to the AI space, specifically in Silicon Valley. And I'm here to be your guide, your shepherd. I will be happy to answer any questions you and the community have. Let's go.
Let's go, man. I mean, something I remember from your speech, your keynote in Bulgaria this summer, you mentioned that there's 100 events a week,
Month.
AI events.
Yeah,
Okay,
per
it's
month.
a month. It's a per month. 100 AI events per month in just in Silicon Valley,
That's right. In-person events.
in-person events.
Yeah, so that's like 5 per night is on average. And then on the weekends, there's usually one hackathon where 200 to 300 developers assemble to build on some new APIs or foundational model. So it's not just talk, people are building things. And this means that people get rapid ideas, people are learning from each other very quickly. And this is important. Um, Most of the founders are from another country. Silicon Valley is predicated off immigrants. Most of the giant tech company CEOs are from other countries. Immigrants are very much accepted and welcome. It is a global culture in Silicon Valley. It's part of that brings those new ideas, those new cultures, the new concepts. Often we meet founders that left their country where they say, I want to build AI to solve this. And people say, no, you can't do that here. You can't, because nobody wants it. It's too hard. If you fail, we're going to laugh at you. You can't. No, no, no. Well, if you come here, that attitude doesn't exist. So all ideas and people are welcome. So the outliers, the wild people, the innovators are welcome here, and so they're flocking in from all over the world.
That's fantastic. And another number I remember, I don't remember what was the time, like which month was that, but you mentioned the number
Of
that
startups,
there's about 1,000 new AI startups a month.
that data is still current as far as I know. So there's a website called There's an AI for that. Whoa, it had just crossed over like in the last few hours to 15,000 AI projects. That is incredible. I'm going to actually put that on Twitter right now.
There you go.
There's 15K AI projects. Wow. That's a new milestone.
Have you ever seen any buzz like that in this scale?
No, never. Never. I've never, ever seen any single trend in tech. And this is my fifth tech wave. .com, social media, sharing economy, Web3, and now AI. And I've been here the whole time. I've never seen that level of growth. Ever. Even at .com, that was maybe a few thousand companies. In social media, is a couple hundred companies. This is something different. And here's why. The cost to doing this is low. You need a data corpus. You can use AI to build a new AI app. You can infuse it in the app. There's APIs. There's off-the-shelf software. There's a lot of open source software like Llama 3 from Meta, Falcon from UAE. It just only takes a few $1,000s to get a prototype up. And also, founders can use AI for their marketing. They can generate a website using AI very fast within minutes. They can use GPT to write the copy on your marketing. You can automate your email newsletter. You can automate your social media. Like the cost to actually doing this. And so one trend that we're starting to think about is of these 1,000 new AI projects that are launching per month, how many are created by AI? And we don't know if we can ever determine that. Like we're assuming that we're going to see startups birth that have no human at the helm. Boom, mind blowing, right?
Let that sink in. I was thinking it might be a good and fun exercise. I'm having a screenshot of one of your slides from the conference, actually the key insights, and I thought it might be fun to drop you just the sentence, and maybe
Sure.
you can give us a short comment around that. So I don't know if you remember this keynote, but I'm gonna go. So key insights for AI leaders. Number one, a consequential technology. Akin to the Industrial Revolution, we are augmenting and replacing brain power with computing power at exponential rates.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So the Industrial Revolution, which happened way over 100 years, so we don't remember, that's when machines came about. And we no longer needed humans to create textiles and create clothes. We had the loom. We started to use coal, and which resulted in steam power instead of using horses and mules and cows and other animals. And we started to see all kinds of advanced machinery to create new products, the same product, consistently create that product at scale. Of course, there's lots of downsides to the Industrial Revolution as well. And so that's what's happened. We've replaced the muscles. And by the way, this is the metaphor that Reid Hoffman and Chris Ye use, which I'm leveraging from them. So we're replacing muscles with mechanical power in the Industrial Revolution. So here we are next in the AI revolution, where we can use AI to do the cognitive, the thinking on our behalf. And so now, Stoyan, you have your own personal assistant, your own marketing manager, your own shopping assistant, all of these roles that can support you that used to be afforded only to the billionaires are now available to everybody at low, if not free. And so that's the big thing, is we're enabling everybody to have this crew, this executive team to help everybody.
So the second insight, complex ecosystem, the AI tech stack, a rapidly evolving ecosystem, is in the market formation stage. Thousands of AI projects are set to emerge.
Yes. And by the way, awesome that you have my slide from that. That's awesome. So the AI tech stack is the way we look at the market. And if you do a Perplexity or Google search on AI tech stack Jeremiah, you'll find it. And we got feedback from Stanford CS, Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud, and of course, thinking through Chris and Reed, and Reed's on the board of Microsoft. So the AI tech stack at the bottom layer, just imagine this visual in your mind. The bottom layer, a horizontal bar, is the data layer. And that's the most critical one. So whoever has that data, that's what the AI trains on. The next layer up on top of this is called the AI infrastructure layer. And that's typically the cloud companies, the computer chips like NVIDIA, the data centers where all these things are stored, the energy, power, cooling, security. So that is another layer there. And of course, the chips are very expensive and in hot demand. That's why the NVIDIA stock has gone, completely amazing. The next layer up is the foundational model layer. And this is where you see OpenAI and Anthropic and Claude and also Google Gemini. And then Apple has Apple Intelligence. So the foundational models are like these advanced brains. Think of them as operating systems. Now, above that, there's two boxes on top of that sit on top of the foundational model. So there's two. On the left-hand side is the AI app layer. And this is where probably 14,500 of the startups are in that category. Most of them are right there. And this could be an AI app for health, or it could be for your local community. It could be for expense reports at work. It could be for, coaching like what you do and other things. It could be a marketing app that has AI. So there's thousands of these AI apps, and they're using these typically as a co-pilot where the AI is integrated into the existing app, or maybe it's an assistant where it can fill out things across multiple apps. So that's where you see that feature. On the emerging category on the top right, and this is the last box, is the hot space, which is agents. Autonomous agents conduct activities on behalf of the user, human, without much human intervention at all. So you can give it one task: go book me flights from San Francisco to Sofia, Bulgaria. And it will go look at my calendar, find the dates, find out which airline I like, open up the United or Turkish Airlines or UAE Airlines, and open that and fill in all the information: my name, a credit card with approval, and which seats do I like, and figure out the times and how many stops and where do I want to sit, aisle or whatever. And then it will say, hey, are you ready to purchase this flight? And we'll go do that. So I can save myself 30, 40 clicks because it looks at my historic data and preferences and actually does that on my behalf. So we see AI agents for that, for managing email, for managing your social media, for doing shopping. AI agents are like your own personal assistant doing these things for you. And that's the hot category we're seeing. So there's, of course, new things emerging as well, but that's a really good overview of where the market is right now. Data, AI infra, foundational model, app layer, and then the agent layer. That's how we see the AI industry right now. And it's rapidly changing constantly.
This is so good, man. I haven't heard anybody explaining in so simple terms, so easy to understand, and also probably easy for people listening who want to either build AI or just were curious to be users and try to see how am I not being left behind, looking for what's happening out there. So thanks so much. I'm going for the third one. The third insight you shared was power shift is real. The funnel appended, humans will rely on AI agents to make decisions and purchases. Businesses will need to influence buyer side agents and launch sell side agents.
Yes. Okay. So we just finished the last bullet point on what are AI agents. They conduct things autonomously for humans, right? So this means that we will have AI agents. How many will we have? 5, 10, 15 throughout the day doing our tasks for us. And it means they'll go out into the internet and conduct the task for us. They'll go out into your applications on your desktop and do the task for us. They'll go into your work apps and do your work for you at the simple things. Of course, that'll give us more time to focus on complex ideas. Now, this is a severe transformation. This means, Stoyan, that the dominant creature and entity on the internet will not be humans. The dominant entity on the internet will soon be AI agents. The Stoyan agent, the Jeremiah agent, booking our flights so we can hang out and have watermelon coffee and rose chocolate. And so these tools will be filling out all the forms, doing all the stuff we don't really like to do. And it'll bring that information back to us in one interface. So maybe you prefer to get information in an audio way. Maybe I prefer to get information in a graphical image way. Whatever it is, it'll assemble to us. It means the information on the internet comes to us. We don't have to go out to the internet. So that's a fundamental breakage. And this is why Google is so concerned. Now, as a result, websites don't go away, but websites will have to cater to these AI agents. And right now, AI agents are simulating the click path. They're like filling out the form, doing the mouse clicks, doing the keypad clicks on behalf of the human. That's too slow. It's too tedious. So in the future, we'll see that websites will offer a direct API for the agent, and it will be a faster way. So the question is, will we even need a website? Not in the way that we think about it in the future. But humans, of course, will want to visit united.com. I'm not sure why, but you might. And if you do that, of course, the website in the future will be using generative AI and just assemble dynamically on the fly based upon who you are and what you want. And so the way that we think about the internet, traversing billions of different web pages, those days are going to die. Instead, the information is coming to the human and reassembling in a different way. And that is going to create some significant business model implications, especially if you're in marketing, e-commerce, search, information, media. Like, things are going to change quite significantly in the next few years.
Excellent. I'm going to the fourth one. Blitzscalers have these attributes: exclusive data, productized synthetic data, network effects, product-led growth, and distribution strategies.
Yep. Okay, that's a lot of like tech buzz lingo. So blitzscaling is predicated off a Stanford class where Reed and Chris interviewed the winners from .com and social media and sharing economy, the famous leaders like Brian Chesky of Airbnb, Eric Schmidt of Google, the PayPal leaders. So they found out, they said, hey, what resulted in all of these big winners in tech? And they found a few things. So I'm a student of them, right? I didn't write the book. And so there's a couple things that they found. These companies have products that spread virally, right? Think about LinkedIn, Airbnb, Uber, eBay, PayPal, WhatsApp. These tools, they naturally spread and people use them. They spread all around through the users. So that's part one. Number two is a concept called network effects. So that means that every new user that participates, they add value to all the other users. So if we have somebody who lists an object for sale on eBay, or somebody who lists their home on Airbnb, or somebody who creates content on any social network, that's new value created that everybody could potentially access. So that's network effects. So those two things are key. Now, in the AI space, there is one slight change. So we are looking for companies that have access to exclusive data that nobody else has, right? Because GPT is trained off most of the internet's data, and so is Anthropic and Google Gemini, but they don't have access to the private data, the secret data. And by the way, it's estimated that 80% of the world's data is that secret, exclusive data that's behind your business firewall, behind the government firewall in Bulgaria, or in your personal cloud about your personal preferences in your email or your photos. That stuff doesn't exist out on the public web yet. So whatever startup or founder has access to that exclusive data, they have an advantage over anybody else, and it's less likely that OpenAI or Google or Microsoft could disrupt them if you have that access to that data. So is that helpful?
Yeah, man, I think I'm coming up with a lot of questions now, but I
Yeah.
think I'm to dive deeper. But I just want to finish up with the 50 insight, and then we can dive into it. And once again, everybody who's live, feel free to, don't be shy. Feel free to jump in with some questions and comments as well. But the fifth one, the 50 insight, which I think you already kind of mentioned a little bit and hinted around it, but speed is required. The slow companies are being disrupted. You must drive fast within your company and with your customers. The wealthy, slow, and large tech giants are being disrupted.
Yeah. Haven't seen an industry move this fast before. So technically it launched, I think, was it November 2022 when we saw Chat GPT 3.5, and it took the world by storm. So that is what, 22 months ago,
Hmm.
right? That's fast, this level of growth. And now we're on ChatGPT 4.0, right? So, and these models are getting faster and smarter and better at a pace we haven't seen. We are not expecting that artificial general intelligence, which is equivalent to human intelligence across multiple topics, that is unlikely to happen this decade, according to the sources that I'm connected to. But it will happen within several years where it's equal. Right now, AI is already beating humans in almost every video game and math tests and writing tests, and can produce videos and the images and deep fakes. Like it can already replicate quite a few things that humans can do, right? Like you've seen the videos mature at a pretty fast clip, and they're starting to look pretty good, even though they're short, right? It's pretty incredible. As you know, Hollywood is quite concerned. It can produce news content just off existing headlines, and not always accurate, but and it can create music, and you cannot tell the voices are AI generated already, right? And we're not even 2 years in. You can't tell that it's a robot voice. Even Reid Hoffman has Read AI, and it's a video, and it talks, and it looks like him. It sounds like him. There's like body movements. I can tell it's not him, but that's just generation one, first generation. So that's pretty incredible on version one. It's like 90% there. So I think you understand like how fast this is moving so quickly. You cannot wait. So if you are wanting to make sure that you're relevant in AI, you cannot wait. You have to move fast. Even Google, this dominant giant, tech hyperscaler, is threatened from this, right? They were not ready, and Apple is late to the game. They were not ready. So the tech giants are already being displaced. So this is the biggest transformation I've ever seen.
You actually mentioned during the conference, you cited this article that says that Bill Gates says that AI will likely kill Google search and Amazon the way we know it as of today.
Yes. So Bill put out an article. It's covered in MSNBC. Bill Gates and search for agents, and basically whoever has the personal AI agent and we talked about this 2 topics ago. The personal AI agent does all the tasks for Stoyan. Like you need to have your lunch ordered, you need to order, flowers for somebody special, you need to have an Uber called, you need your meeting scheduled, you need your like basic emails answered. It's going to do all those things for you. And it means it will conduct the shopping for you. It will respond to you. And it means it will get the answers to things that you don't have for you. And this means you don't need to go out to the internet to do these things. So it means you don't have to go to Amazon. This agent will find many sources to get products, and it can traverse the web and find other locations. It can use other types of search tools like OpenAI or Anthropic or Perplexity search to get answers. It doesn't just have to go to Google. So we'll be doing all these things on your behalf. You don't have to go to Google anymore. So that's the big change that these AI agents, there's going to be a significant power shift.
So for somebody like you that's looking things like literally in the middle of everything, what do you see is happening right now? Like, how's the battle of the tech giants? Like, can you give us an overview? Like, where is Meta? Where is Amazon? Where is Microsoft?
Yeah.
Alphabet? Who's winning? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, it's changing all the time. So like my information could be dated just like from 24 hours, right? So it appears as Microsoft is really the dominant leader in a couple ways. One, they're the major investor in OpenAI, and they're integrating that product into their own products. And so most Microsoft Office, like Microsoft Live, will have this capability embedded with Copilot. So they're already ahead. And then they spread that to the world's largest corporations, the business leaders. And so that's like a big win right there. Amazon wins as well because they offer these web services. They tend to be very agnostic to the technologies, and they built a technology called Bedrock that enables developers to have one pane of glass to view all of the different AI applications. And so they are also doing great in that. Google is the one that is being challenged as people find other ways to get information. They have to upend their business model. Now, they've been innovating very, very quickly. Just the last few releases, you can see that their search tool looks great because it's using generative AI. but it's still a problem because it disrupts their own business model. There's very few ads or no ads when their content is generated. So how will they make money? It's not clear. Apple will have a way to win because they have all of this exclusive data within their ecosystem. However, they don't have a lot of the data from the apps, so there is some breakage there. Google could still win because the Android devices are the largest around the world, and if they can figure out how to have local language models on devices, they still have a way to make this win. NVIDIA wins; they're just dominant in the space for sure. But obviously, their competitors want a piece of this as well. So that's what I'm seeing from the large tech companies. Salesforce is also integrating AI very quickly. My friend Clara Shai is running that program as the chief AI officer, and that'll help businesses as well. And there's some dominant new players, like, for example, Perplexity, which is a search tool. I encourage you to try it instead of using Google search. They're growing at a rapid clip. So that's what I'm seeing from the tech giant space.
Thanks for the overview, man. Super, super interesting. And since you're a general partner at Blitzscaling Ventures, and you get the chance to talk to many, many different startup projects, what's hot these days? What are some of the latest trends? Like, what are you looking for in an AI project? Assuming the team is great, assuming all the other usual startup metrics are in place, what makes you say yes, this has a potential?
Yes, earlier we talked about what blitzscalers are, and so that's something that we really think is important. Yeah, so those criteria, we actually have a scorecard that we score companies on that criteria. So we look for network effects. Do they have viral growth? Are they in a market that's likely to be a large market, and can they win most of that market? So that's actually how we spend time together, and we score these companies. And if they score 80 points out of 100, then we will take them to the next level. At the very end, we actually run our deals by Reid Hoffman himself. He reviews it and gives us direct feedback. And of course, we take that with very high importance. So I am spending a lot of time with the AI industry. In fact, tonight I'm going to a dinner with AI agent founders who are building the next generation of agents to learn from them and share what I'm seeing as well. So the other way I get information is I host an event called Llama Lounge. There's no real llamas there, Stoyan. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But there's typically 300 AI founders, and many of them fly in from Europe. That's the top continent that comes in. And they come, and also around 50 investors join on average. So Llama Lounge 13 is in September next month. So it's just, I started this over a year ago, over 18 months ago, this event series, and it's one of the longest running, largest attended event series in San Francisco on AI founders, and therefore the world. And so people are submitting and applying to attend, and also submitting and applying to demo. So I get to see all of this information about all these startups. I see more than probably most people, even in the VC space, because it's just so much happening.
And looking at some specific kind of trends in AI, what is hot these
Sure.
days?
Yeah. Well, we talked about AI agents are very hot. That is, people are building that for every category. I'm seeing. So when I say hot, it doesn't mean it's an area that I want to invest in, because it's sometimes overcrowded. So we're seeing a lot of startups that are working on AI agents for customer care or marketing or sales, automating all of those tasks. We're seeing a number of AI co-pilots and agents that will manage your email. I've seen a couple of those. I'm seeing a couple of startups emerging that will be the payment layer for AI agents to pay humans, or to pay other agents, or to pay for web services. I am seeing health and wellness AI co-pilots to help people who can't get access to therapists, or to fitness coaches, or to wellness coaches, and to help them. A couple of them are around productivity, which is important to you. I'm seeing a couple of them that will arrange your schedule using AI so you can be productive, and then, or to answer emails, or to help you, give you quotes that are inspirational. So those are some of the areas that I'm seeing AI in right now.
Can you think of any more interesting or quirky kind of, but very solid projects that you came across in the last 2-3 months, let's say?
Yeah, of course. So if they're really interesting, then I'm going to bet on them. So there's one called LearnTube out of India, which we invested in, and basically it take. Oh, you actually could be a contender for it. So it takes. They create curriculum using AI, which can be resold online. And the latest area they're testing at is with people who are creating videos. So Instagram, YouTube, or even live stream. And so it would index all of the information on all of your shows. You've done over 100 and something shows, I think, right?
100,
178, something.
191, you can see
Jeez.
somewhere.
So you could take that body of
Mm.
language, and, that body of work, and then it'll index all that with AI, and it will start creating curriculum. How to be more productive, how to be a founder, how to be a public speaker, how to be a business coach. It'll automatically create all that content for you, and it will turn it into curriculum that people can take classes and then get Stoyan certified. And they will pay money for that, and you get a revenue cut from that. You don't have to do a lot of additional content. And if there's some content that there's missing, for example, how to be an executive coach in Silicon Valley, which you don't live here, so you don't have that information, the AI can go find that information on YouTube or elsewhere and then source it and include it in there. So we said this is great because it has viral effects. We talked about that, right? It'll spread. Like you as an influencer could spread it to your listeners and followers. And two, it has network effects. So as you create content, other people can access it. Other creators create content, so other people can access it. So those are the two things we're really looking for, and it's growing very fast. So that's LearnTube, which is an AI for learning. That's one example. Another one that's interesting is we bet on Multion, which creates AI agents. And it does a lot of the use cases that I talked about. In fact, the one I talked about, booking a United flight using an AI agent, their AI agent is doing that in certain environments. They're going to roll out some new features that enable other people to use it as well. So third-party developers can use those AI agents and integrate them into their existing apps. So we bet on that company as well. So those are two quote quirky examples that I really think are interesting, and that's why we actually put our money into them.
And just commenting on the first one, I've been thinking about some sort of a tool because I mean we have close to 200 episodes of 60 minutes. There's so much insights. There's so much good material.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of what can we do to kind of to source it to create some sort of a library.
Yes.
Like maybe like
But you
searchable by
you
topic
should
by.
monetize it though, right? You should
No, for sure,
monetize it,
sure, yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So
What if it's like,
imagine
I don't
you
know,
become
leadership
certified.
development?
Exactly that. You become productivity master level 2 certified, Stoyan certified, right? Yeah. You already built this great corpus of data. Why not make it into new formats using AI and then help your leaders skill up? Oh, by the way, the attendees of the class, the students, they will listen to your videos and they can read it at the same time. Then the AI creates quizzes. Like, what are the 5 points Jeremiah talked about in his and it could have multiple choices or fill in. So it makes sure they have active learning.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's again, it's like maybe you've been to 100 podcasts, but maybe you never spoke about the things that you shared with me
Exactly.
today, right? Like so,
Exactly.
and when you put all those kind of amazing people like you, like the founder of Reebok, the president of Starbucks, like with these specific
Wow.
insights that Stoyan got out of them, right? It's like, okay, 7 people talk about the same topic. They actually maybe have the same opinion, maybe have a different opinion, which is
Okay.
actually interesting, right? So it's kind of like you can make your own,
That's
kind of a
right.
critical thinking thing.
So topic based across your multiple guests. Yeah,
That's it.
that could be done with LearnTube as well.
I would love to
I'm
see
gonna
more about it, man.
I'm gonna introduce you to the founder Shronet.
Love it.
Okay,
Love it,
cool.
man. Look, man, there's many people listening to the podcast that not necessarily in AI, some of them not even entrepreneurs, but I think what people are curious about is, many people are business professionals, right? What
Yeah.
are the industries that are being disrupted,
Oh, right.
and what is going to be disrupted in the next 12 to 24 months, according to you?
So let's be really clear. Jobs have already been lost to AI, and a
It's
number of them have been lost even in Silicon Valley. It's already happened. So we need to be really clear. And I know that's one of the top fears around the globe.
mm,
So it is going to happen. So at a high level, we do need to think about new economic resources to be distributed to people. And so Reid Hoffman put out a think piece just recently how products and services are going to be reduce in cost. And so everybody will have more access to resources in the future. So we do need to have a mindset of abundance. So that's going to be really important. I want us to start with that in mind before we progress further in the conversation. Like we can have more abundance for the whole world. So let's just start with that. All right. So what are some of the roles or tasks or skills that AI will not be able to do? And I think we should start there. So being a person, so people, the really poor answer, and it's an annoying answer, is have empathy, and that's really annoying. So let's talk about what actually it actually means. So being a leader to sway humans and AI, frankly, to understand new concepts and then move to action in a consolidated way. Leadership will matter, and that could manifest from public speaking, being a community leader, being an event leader, an online community leader. Those are things that AI still won't be able to do. AI is not great at creativity and coming up with new concepts. It's often regurgitating and synthesizing existing content. So, for the small amount of people that have that creative ability, that will still matter. Anything involving physical touch, healing, health, wellness, medicine, nursing, doctors, wait staff at restaurants, premium experiences at concerts and hotels. All of those things will go up in value when everything else becomes readily available. So people will pay more for the white glove human service. That'll become even more important. And so people who are experts at that craft will see increased demand and therefore hopefully prices as well. So politics doesn't go away. Litigation in law, that doesn't go away. Sales, human to human sales doesn't go away. Although I think online sales is probably going to be replaced by AI. We're already seeing numerous startups doing that. So those are some examples of the types of tasks and functions. And I think the important thing I wanted to share is this is how I'm raising my kids. I'm in the heart of this. I'm an investor in AI. So I think about these skills and how to prepare my own children for this radical future. And of course, we use AI with my supervision.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, they're welcome to generate images if they like to make cute, I have young kids. They like to, create cute images. And so we start there. Sometimes we use ChatGPT to get answers on things. We talk about what went well, what was wrong with that answer, what's missing. And so we try to understand that. Even middle schoolers, at least in US, might have access to Canva to create their school presentations, like presentations you would give in front of a class, like PowerPoint. And it already includes generative AI images and text. It's already there. I was so surprised to see that last year. So it's already starting to happen. Of course, many kids have smartphones now, and they will have AI embedded that they will be talking to. So we have to tell them what are the limits, what are the opportunities, what are the benefits. But ultimately is like, how can you have more fun playing outside and doing things like that, which we definitely do within our household. We limit screen time. I'm sorry, we fight with screen time. We do our best. It's hard.
So I guess what you're trying to do is to prepare them for the world that is expecting them, developing this type of skills.
Trying.
Prompt
I think the key
engineering.
thing is to learn fast, right? So how can you learn something really quickly? I think that's the most important skill because the world's changing so quickly, not just from tech, but from politics, climate, and physical conflicts in the world. So learning really fast, being adaptive is probably the most important skill.
When I was a student, I used to think that the educational system is super outdated, because it wasn't inspiring critical thinking as much. It was a lot more of a, somebody's sharing information with you, you got to follow. But I wonder how educational institutions dealing with the world as of today. Like, have you been in touch and have you seen any examples of educational institutions, and what do they do to adapt to the world we live in with AI? You think it's working well, or do you think it's a huge disruption in the educational institutions?
I think it's a huge disruption, and many of them don't know how to do it yet. So some of them have banned AI by students, which I understand at certain ages why you want to do that, because you want to foster their own cognitive development for them to human students to generate their own ideas, not rely on others. I think that's important. But when you're in the more advanced, like high school and college, AI is going to be present in the workforce, so you have to start integrating it. But judging people on which papers they've written, which of course most students will think, can I use AI? And of course there's AI detectors which are not accurate. I think that's a losing battle. Instead, is to test students on, do they know the concept and can they deal with a rigorous review by their peers and teacher. So, for example, let the students pick a topic, they study it, they should know it inside and out. Of course, they could publish a document, whether it's image or text. I don't care. Are they using AI to create synthetic content? I don't care. But what they have to do is they have to stand up in front of the classroom and deliver their point of view on what they found. And hopefully they can enable and defend their thesis in front of the students. So it means they know the topic inside and out, and they have no AI assistant at that point. And then the students can vote whether or not they agree. Did they sway them? So I think that's a much better way to think about that. The problem is it's a slow process and you can't feature every student all the time. So it doesn't scale well for the teachers. Maybe use AI to grade them or let them record that online. So I think that's what's most important. And it also teaches them leadership skills to stand in front of others and to deliver, which you're so good at. And I saw you on stage at Web Summit. So how do you give people those skills, that confidence to speak in front of others with conviction? And even you, I saw how you engage the crowd. I mean, you're using the empathy skills and using the community skills. I saw you doing that. So those are all the skills that we have to somehow teach to kids. And you and I both know those are not taught in school.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the compliment. And talking about that, I'm just reflecting now, thinking about the. It's probably so hard, man. Like the whole environment is changing so fast. I mean, the tools and the trends of yesterday are no longer trends today.
Yes.
Like I mean, 12 months ago, if you wanted to create a video entirely using AI, it would be very basic and kind of not really. It would be rough. Now we have. I'm not sure if it's out. Maybe it's not. Sora AI, all these kind of tools that are
Yep.
like
And
it's like a
Pika. Yep. Many
freaking
others.
freaking cinematic quality Hollywood.
Yes.
Man. My background is movie production. This is beautiful, man.
And you can
And it's
generate
so
symphonic music, right? Using those tools out there as well, right? Original,
yeah,
well,
it's
quote
you
original.
you just off for 2 weeks, like you go to on a holiday and you come back and it's just like, wow, what's going on, the development. So if you're somebody who's like a dean in a university or like in a high school, and like what do you even do, right? There's no data. You can't base it on 20 years of experience with these type of technologies and say, okay, this approach is working, we're going to start allowing the students to use some tools in the process. But then again, we don't have programs, and once you create a program, is that program going to be outdated already? It's interesting, man.
Again, the skill that's required is how to learn fast. Like, how do you teach your kids that, or those around you? How do you teach that? I think that's the thing to do. And so the best way to learn fast is to expose yourself to new ideas and topics and experiences and people. So doing things that challenge you, right? Um, I think that's, and then figuring out, how do you figure that out?
And by the way, talking about not just education, talking about companies, I mean, the best employees today are the ones that can learn fast.
Yep.
The positive, the resilient one, the one
Mhm.
that is fitting the culture and so on and so forth. But they need to be fast learners because things are changing so fast. You can't rely on the one trick pony kind of thing, because this trick is not going to be viable anymore.
That's
So
right. So understanding how to get information, how to find experts, how to network with them. By the way, I'll tell you, one hack. It was a rich guy hack. So this rich person, he would find the world's experts,
mhm.
and then he would contact them, and he'd say, "What's your day rate?" And somebody would say, "Well, $20,000. You get all my knowledge for if you hire me." And he said, "Okay, uh, I'm going to hire you for one day, and you're going to fly to me, and you're going to tell me everything you know about your industry in one day. And I'm going to record it just for my use." And he'd pay the bill. And that rich person did that over and over, and they got the world's best experts and got tutored by those people. Of course, those rich people were very grateful they got that day rate, and so they sent that person continual information and built friendships. Now, of course, I don't have $20,000 to spend on somebody for a day, but a lot of this content is online. I mean, you are doing it also. You are talking to the world's experts almost 200 times on these interviews, so you are getting these personal tutoring sessions as well.
It's another hack. Start a podcast. Now you have a platform to invite some incredible people and learn from them.
Yeah, and it has network effects because now all the listeners can access the body of work. And then, of course, there's a viral effect because smart people want to tell other smart people they're on this podcast. And so so you are using the blitzscaling techniques by being a podcast host.
And I'm super, super grateful and happy for everybody who's listening and all the opportunities that come out of this this platform, this podcast. But truthfully, I started the podcast because I just wanted to connect with people and to learn from them. And this is one of the still individually looking. This is probably the biggest, value I'm getting out of this podcast is the opportunity to have a platform to have a conversation with incredible people and learn from them.
It's a smart move. That's why I do Llama Lounge, my events, where I feature 10 AI founders. It's the same concept, right? And of course, they talk about the event to their friends, so it has a viral effect.
And also, now you are the go-to AI person in Silicon Valley.
I'm one of them. There's 100 people that are really connected. I'm one of them. I can't claim I have it all, and nobody can do it all. It's just not physically possible.
I understand, but what I'm saying is you're one of the you're like a thought leader, right? Immediately, just by being in the middle of organizing this super cool event.
Thanks, man. I'm happy to serve the community, and then I get a lot of benefits too.
Tell us a little bit more about that, man. I've seen some pictures. It's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. So
I saw all these kind of crowds of people, like a waiting list. It's sold out. Like it's crazy, man. It's amazing.
That's right. So typically the event has around 300 AI founders and around 50 VCs that attend. And I work well with other VCs because we want to sometimes invest in deals with them, or we pull them in, or they pull us in. And plus I ask them their opinions on the founders too. So, and they also tell me we want to feature our founder that we invested in at Llama Lounge. I'm highly going to consider that for multiple reasons. And so AI founders come and they fly in from all over the world just to network or to be featured as a demo company. And yeah, it results in them getting information, new contacts, partners, and funding. So it is great for the community. It is hosted at different companies. So recently we were at SAP, also Amazon Web Services. We have 3 more events lined up this year. Sometimes there's lines down the street, like 2 blocks to get in because it's just so high demand. Typically there's 300 to 700 people on the wait list that we decline access to because of the founders want to be in this room because there's over $100 billion of VC money in the room. And then I tell the VCs, I'm bringing all the founders that are early stage and like we want in. So everybody comes. I don't charge anybody, but we carefully review who can come. We're very, very stringent on the review process to those roles I mentioned. And then the host, the company who is providing the space and food and beverage and security, they get lots of kudos, speaking time, their logos everywhere. And so they pay for everything. And so that's how I use and work together with the community to make it all happen. Plus there's at least a dozen volunteers for each event that help with the check-in desk. And then we talk about it on social. We create videos and photos. Can you see me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, my screen went out. Okay. All right. We're good. So that's how Llama Lounge works. So Llama Lounge 12 is over. Llama Lounge 13, 14, 15 are in the works coming up. And there's something else I wanted to tell you about, and this is a marketing thing. There's 100 AI events in San Francisco Bay Area per month. And most of them are called Gen AI Meetup, Gen AI Summit, Gen AI Collective, Gen AI this, or it's called AI this, AI that, right? And so I said, I need a name that's going to be completely different. So I went with Llama Lounge. And I actually saw some llamas at an event. I looked at it. I said, oh, llamas, Llama Lounge. And so that's the brand is known throughout the world in the AI space.
instead of the AI Gen Summit.
Gen ML, yeah. So
Mm.
it's just you got to stand apart in the market. I think that's
That's
kind of the
really good,
message.
man. That's really good. And I gotta give you another piece of praise. Like you're so good in bringing people together.
Thanks.
And we talk a lot about AI, but I want to go human for a few minutes and
Yeah.
talk about human skills. Um, what makes you a great networker? I've already mentioned at the beginning of the episode. I find you to be a great networker, but if you can maybe give a few pieces of advice, what makes you a great networker?
Not being afraid of rejection. Going up and introducing yourselves, engaging in conversation. Sometimes it backfires. I actually got feedback last week that people didn't like the way I would go up and introduce myself. They said I was too brash. It was some British people that didn't like that.
So
I
what do you
said,
do? What do you do? Let's say, okay, you go to tell me about the British people, but then tell
well,
me.
it doesn't matter. It's net positive. Like I'm not
Mm,
gonna. Not everybody's gonna like me or you.
that's it.
Statistically, it just
That's
won't
it, man.
happen. So I already like know. Okay, well, 1 person out of 10 doesn't like me just because of the way I approached them. But I'm trying, in my heart to make a new relationship, and it doesn't matter. I just don't care. So it's net positive, like because I'm gonna invite people to the events that want to be with me and the community, and those that don't, that's fine. They can self-select out. So it's not personal. It's just silly. So you have to be willing to be ready for rejection. You must already factor in that you will be rejected in networking, but at the net positive is you'll make new friends that will be valuable potentially for life. Look at us. We networked in the speakers room at Web Summit. There were 1,000 people there, but now we are friends. And I visit you in Sofia, and if you come to SF, I'm gonna carve out my day to take you around. It's like I will do that for you. I already told you I will. So it's like we are going to be lifelong friends, and here I am on your podcast. So it is worth it, and being okay
And
that you won't connect
it
with
probably happened
everybody.
because one of us went to the other person, even though you're a stranger or I was a stranger. I don't remember, and we took the opportunity not to be afraid to be rejected,
Yep,
but actually started a conversation.
yep, yep. And that was a special room too, right? So I think that's another lesson is to being in the right room. So and that was a VIP room, and
Mm.
everybody there, is a leader in some way or form, right? It was a leader's room.
I mean, let's just to give you an idea, guys. Those of you listening, you had presidents of countries, you had
The
executives of
Queen,
top
Queen
Queen
Rainier,
of Queen of Jordan,
yeah,
Vladimir Klitschko, some celebrity like actors, you know, football players like whatever,
all that,
Roberto Carlos, like all these people.
press
So
media, yeah,
it's very
leaders.
special room. It's a very special room.
Yeah, they call the speakers forum, right? It was basically a conference within a conference. Now, not everybody has access to that, but so let's bring it back to your listeners. Is you got to get to the right rooms. All right. So one hack to get to the right rooms is you host your own event and you invite VIPs, just like you're hosting your own podcast now. And then in reciprocation, they will invite you to events, and that will continue that process. So you need to have an offer when you talk to people. Some of my friends are authors of books, and they sign books and give them away, and that results in them receiving something else in return. So you need to have an offer. You got to figure out what that is. You can't sell anything. It has to be a give. Has to be a give. It can't be in your best interest either. It has to be in their best interest that they get to do something. So figure that out. What is your offer?
Long term mindset, by the way. This is big. Long-term mindset. A lot of people come to the
Absolutely.
events and they, hey, how are you? They're smiling, they do the approach, good. But then, 20 seconds later, they're already pitching and trying to sell you something. And it's like, how about you get to know the other person, you ask some questions, you show curiosity. This is what you did, man. Like
Thanks, man.
again, for you it's natural, man. And
But
and I guess for me it's natural, but it's like um you were so attentive. I saw you like let's say 2 hours later. You remembered me. You
I
remembered
did.
what I did, and you immediately said, "By the way, I met this other guy, and I think you guys have to talk because what you are doing that could be helpful to you."
However, I will say, Stoyan, like you were clear in your communications on what you did. So I wasn't able to do that to everybody else because they didn't give me enough to go on. Um, so the last thing I would love to quickly talk about productivity if you're open to it.
Yeah, let's do that, man. Productivity mastery, ladies and gentlemen.
Not a master. So I'm a husband. I'm a father of multiple kids. I'm a event host, speaker, and a VC. I'm doing a lot. So the thing that really keeps me straight and narrow and focused is making sure I get my fitness done first thing in the morning. And that gives me clarity of thought. It
What time
gets
do
me
you wake up?
early, 4 a.m.
Oh wow.
I go to bed early when my kids go to sleep. So I'm still getting like 7 hours of sleep. So I'm just going to bed early. So I go to CrossFit, which is, a variety of different activities, cardio to weightlifting to gymnastics. It's a mixture. Every day it's different. So it's interesting. So there's no routine. And then I stretch out and I get home and I do breakfast with the family. And then I start the day. Like you're my second meeting here in Silicon Valley for the day. So that fitness is critical because you only get one vehicle. Your mind is a vehicle, and you cannot trade in this vehicle like a car, or you cannot trade it in. You can only upgrade it, and you have to do your maintenance on and your mileage is going to go up no matter what. So you have to maintain it. So you have to take care of your body, and most people don't. And obviously, America has a real problem with that because people are really out of shape. So this is something that is critical to me, is to stay physically fit, and people notice it, and just not physically, but my energy levels helps me to think and trying new things, and I meet new friends at the gym. So it's a huge ROI. I recommend start your day and get your fitness done. Thanks, man.
Cheers, man. I mean, the thing is sleeping well, waking up early, going to the gym. If you only get this right, you're so much ahead of the game, man, because your
Your
mind is
day's already
working
set.
through.
The
I
hardest thing
mean,
is already done.
I'll just add something. I mean, we have a few more minutes, I guess, unless you have to go, just give me a sign. But I think there's a few more minutes, no?
Yeah, a few more minutes.
Okay, good. Because I wanted to add on, like, on top of those things, what I'm guessing is if you have so many things going on, well, again, I don't know you, but from my experience observing and working with many professionals, it's usually, and all these people, 200 people come into the podcast, exceptional performers, each of them, or most of them, have some sort of a system to organize their own time and tasks.
Yeah,
Uh,
I could talk about that too.
yeah, if you can maybe share, like, how do you prioritize? How do you, do manage your day to day? Especially having in mind that many of your things
Yeah,
are probably changing on the go.
yeah. So I keep I have to have a simple tool.
Mm.
It has to be digital that I can access on any device, and it can't have a login system, or a low. So it's got to have low friction. So I use Apple Notes, that silly white yellow app, and in there I organize my to dos and I put radio buttons and I check things off, and they're organized into categories. So at the top is like hot things I got to do right away, right immediately, and then I've got things sorted by personal, home, family, and then my career, and then Llama Lounge, business. So I have them in different categories. And so I just use the Apple Note to do that. And I put the date at the top. And then every few weeks, I should do it weekly. It doesn't end up that way. I should do it every Sunday night. I should copy that list and then replicate it, change the date, and then remove anything that's been checked off, and then restart the list and add things to it. And so if I'm talking to somebody and they say, I need you to do this for me, I will open my phone right away, say, I'm going to take a note. And I put that list there at the top for hot.
Mhm.
So I just keep all of my tasks in one place. I think that's the critical thing. And it works across my laptop or my mobile, anywhere. And so they're synced across that, and no login required. Can't have any friction to accessing that list.
I actually do something similar, but I do it on a daily basis.
Daily,
And it's amazing, man. I
paper
mean,
or
I want
digital.
to invite you. I want to invite you. I'm a spreadsheet guy. I try
Yeah.
different apps and paper sometimes when I'm on the road, and but then I put it back into my spreadsheet. I have a little bit of a
Like a
system.
Google
So,
sheet.
so this, yeah, like a
Uh-huh.
Google sheet, because
Yeah.
then you can take it from the phone and stuff. But it's basically the step number one is, again, I'm on the road, something happens, you tell me, hey, can you send me this email? I put it in the system
Yeah.
on a spreadsheet once a day. Like when we finish with the podcast, that's what I'm gonna do pretty
Uh,
much. Have 20 minutes with myself. I'll make a list. I'll go through the list I have, and I'll ask myself, based on my priorities for the week, what else do I want to do tomorrow, personally,
that's
professionally,
perfect.
whatever. And then very important, man, I have to turn it into a result based. So instead of I'll do sales, I'll say I need to complete these two proposals, send them to a client about, like, it's completion. What does done look like? And when I say what, like, when I figure it out, then I build it backwards and say, how do I get this outcome? So my outcome is not to do sales. My outcome is to close this gig. Okay, so how do I close this gig? Well, maybe I can do some research. Okay, cool. How much time is going to take me? 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, cool. And I start placing everything in my calendar
Yep.
in order of priority, or
Oh,
like
so
urgent,
you
important.
slot
Mm,
calendar time.
I definitely do, man. This is the game changer. But it's based on
Uh,
results. It's based on intention. you
yeah.
know go on a holiday, it's good, but I want to know, why do I go on a holiday? What's my intention? I want to recharge. I just went on a holiday, right? My intention was, I need to chill, I need to go do some parties. Like, I'm not going on a holiday, I'm going to recharge my mental batteries, right? And then, how do I recharge my mental batteries? Well, da, 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 da. Cool. That's how I plan, man. Like, same with
Mm.
the business deeds. Like, result based, and definitely put it in the calendar. Learn that from many. If you're listening and reading time management books, whatever, we had some of the legends of the podcast, David Allen,
I think that's
GTD.
right. You got a time block.
We got the one thing guy, and the one thing guy, Jay Papasan, the co-authors with Gary Keller. They have this concept, and he shared with me this research. Like, if you time block something,
Yes, that's
you're
right.
three times more likely to get it done.
I think that's right. I do that
Mm.
occasionally for longer tasks, but for often it's just really short tasks, so I don't do it
I,
there.
I
But
want to
maybe I
invite
should.
you to. I want to invite you for the next 7 days to spend 10 minutes a day, just to go through your schedule the next day,
And block
and
it.
try to block it and
Okay.
prioritize.
I'm going to try to do that.
I mean, 10 is the minimum, right? Like, because I know you're very busy. Like, but again, I'm using 15-20 minutes because I know that's
Mhm.
gonna save me 4 hours. So it's a good
Oh,
trade.
that's a great ROI.
It's a good.
That's a great ROI.
I
Yep.
don't do it every day, man. I wish I say I'm the productivity
Oh,
coach.
so here's what I
You
do.
know,
On that, I do
but
time block Wednesday mornings midweek intentionally. The
mm,
entire morning, no meetings, unless it's like a speech, something critical.
mm,
And so that's actually when I slay a lot of my tasks, is during that block, and I don't want any interruptions. So,
this focus
so I,
time, right?
yeah,
Focus
focus
hours.
time. So I just kind of like put it all there, and then I kill it.
And you tell your team, do not disturb.
It's on the
I'm
calendar.
off.
They know. They already know. And in fact, I encourage the people I work with. I mean, I don't have any control over them. That we should all do that. Wednesday morning should be for quiet, no meetings, and just slay it. And midweek is key, because by Friday, a lot of people are burned out. And if you send
Yeah.
out emails for actions, they actually won't get done. So I actually think Wednesday is the day that you do that. Hey,
Good stuff, man. Good stuff, man. Hey, we need to go, but actually, I want to speak to you for 2 more hours. And
oh, thank you.
no, cheers, man. Once again, man. Like, guys, you know how many people I know. I know tens of thousands of people, like, literally, because I'm a networker. I meet people. This is one of the biggest givers I know.
Thank you.
This guy here, he's not just smart, connected. He wants to help, and that's what I appreciate about you, man.
Stoyan, it's been a pleasure, an honor to be not only here as a guest, but your friend internationally. We are literally on the other side of the world from each other, but we are definitely bonded. Thank you for
And
allowing me to
can't
be
wait
on your
to
platform today.
appreciate it, man. Can't wait to see you again soon at some stage across the globe. And for those of you listening, make sure to, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any other major platform. If you enjoyed these episodes, there's 190 more episodes with other exceptional leaders. Thank you for listening, for making it to the end of the episode, and see you once again next week for another great episode from the Productivity Mastery Platform. Have a great day, everybody. Ciao.
Ciao.